Yo, what's up, Explosive? How we doing? Colin, how we doing? Welcome in, welcome in. Check, check. All right, we can hear me. It's good, it's good. Alrighty. How's everybody doing tonight? Or today? It's not really nighttime yet, is it? Doing good? I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Got PCs in the queue, getting built. Hello from London. Hey, glad to hear you made it over there safe, Mr. Rainbow. How soon do you leave for your next flight? Because you're going to Florida, right? Okay, so this is, yo, what's up, Aaron Blue? How we doing? This is a very interesting build. We've got probably, well, I'm gonna fix this camera. I don't want to see the monitor. Okay, we've got what's probably the most overkill World of Warcraft computer ever. But the customer had very specific things that he wanted, and we actually reused some of the stuff that he had. So he actually already had this 4070. His brother had tried to build him a computer with very similar specs to this, and it just like was not working. Like they couldn't get it to work. And so they asked me like, hey, can you build me something with basically these same specs? And I said, absolutely, but let's change a few things. So we kept, this is the 4070 that they bought. We kept the Corsair 4000D case that they had previously bought, and then everything else we bought new. Some changes we made, we switched to this Teamgroup AIO because it is like $100 cheaper than the Corsair one they had. Switched to 32 gigs of RAM. They had originally bought two 64 gig kits, so they had 128 gigs of RAM for a WoW gaming PC. I don't know why you would need that, but you know, teach their own. I was like, hey, you can save a bunch of money, let's go with this. The 7950X is the same as what they had originally put in their system, just a new one. 2 terabyte SSD. I went with something that was a little bit cheaper than the Gen 5 one they had selected. And then same thing, we went with a cheaper but better motherboard. This is the Asus TUF Gaming X670E. They had gone with a B series motherboard. So I was like, well, if you guys are gonna, if you want to spend the money, like let's get you something a little bit better. 850 watt power supply, a couple extra deep cool fans. There's only 2 in here, but that's okay. They didn't have to pay full price for it. Richard, how we doing? What's up? Looks like your build. Does it? Does it? You're going on the 9th. Okay, so just a couple days. Just a couple days. Okay. So yeah, basically what happened was the customer's brother, who's like, he's built computers before. He's in more on the software side. He built a computer, and it sounded like it worked for a little while. And then it just stopped working on them, was blue screening constantly, and they couldn't even get it to post after that. And they were just like, we don't know what's going on. We just built it, we just bought everything. And so they just basically, they're like, hey, like we're just gonna return pretty much everything except for the case and the GPU. Can you quote me a new build with those 2 components? And then basically kind of laid out what they had put in the last build. And I was like, absolutely, let's do it. So that's how we got here. So this might not look like most of the builds that I put together in terms of some of the component selection, but you know, the customer gets what the customer wants as long as you know it isn't a detriment to their system. And in this case, it was not. So we've got super overkill computer. But the plan, I think, for him is that he is going to use this for a very long time. I think his last computer he had for like a decade before he got this one. So it should be, should hopefully last just as long. Okay, we got some new subs coming in on YouTube. Samuel Wallace, Inch Oddmoin, I don't know. And then Kirasaiki. Coming in with those subs on YouTube. Thank you. Okay. So let's get started. I don't have my knife on me. I don't know what I did with it. I have my giant butcher knife in here. Look how big this thing is. It's like a giant razor blade. All right. I guess that's what we're using. It might be overkill, but he'll be able to play whatever he chooses. I know, right? It's so funny that like we're going super overkill, and he's just playing World of Warcraft on it. But you know, maybe with these new graphics and capabilities, he'll be like, I want to play some AAA games. You never know. You never know. If anyone's curious of the specs and you want to see it in text rather than me rambling through them, you can type in !specs. Except for on YouTube,
a man
because
that doesn't
Spotrix
have
hasn't
his
showed up
knife
over
is
there
not
yet.
prepared.
But it will eventually. !pecs. Your boy needs to work out, okay? Relax. Yes, explosive, my back hurts, okay? I'm an old man. Old at heart, really. And somewhat in body. Just physically, not technically that old. It's really what it comes down to. In all other ways except for actual numbers, I'm kind of old. All right. Oh, I guess it would help if I turned my camera on. Hold on. There we go. Fixed it. You're not old if you creak and crack, just worn in. Oh, I creak and crack. My knees like make like a squeaking sound when I'm like sitting there, like on the floor. It's bad, guys. It's bad. Jatana, what's up? Gonna waste my night away trying to fix this before you get your hands on it because I'm impatient. One thing I was thinking about is, have you tried setting your VRAM scale target down to 80? I'm trying to remember what your specs are, Colin. Can you put your specs in the chat real quick? At least like your main ones. Pretty sure you messaged some of them to me, but I don't remember if you messaged all of them to me or if you were just talking about your RAM. Call that a computer? That's right. Okay. Got our 7950X in here. Let's get our 2 terabyte SSD. Red needs to upgrade his body, I know, right? I'm well past the expiry date, you know? I meant to send it all together, okay. 5900X. Okay. This is an MP44L 2 terabyte, which does like 5,000-ish read-write speed. Pretty solid. Pretty solid. Since you read all the comments, I made you read this one. Wow. Imagine being punished by your viewers for being a responsible streamer and reading all of the comments. Imagine. Just kidding. I don't care if you guys just write a random story that doesn't make any sense. I'll read it. You know? That's what I'm here for. I'm perfectly capable of building a computer without you guys watching over my shoulder, you know? I'm here for you guys and your weird stories. Can't wait to use up all these gloves and get ones that actually fit better. These ones are garbage. Priceless. Okay. Alrighty. You have 64 gigs, 3600 for sticks. You've got 3090 Founder, 1000 watt power supply, B550 for Rock Strix, Corsair AIO. Okay, cool. Yeah, if you're getting encoder error with that, encoder error shouldn't have anything to do with your stream or your internet. It should be just your system itself. Does it give you that same error when you're recording too? I'd also be interested to see what your actual like stream settings are. When you're recording, do you get the same error? If you try and play the game and record, do you still get encoder error? Yeah, so what's your VRAM scale target in game set to? Okay, there's 16 gigs of RAM installed. These are the Teamgroup kits, T-Force Delta RGB, 2x16 gigabytes, CL32 6400. Very great kits of RAM. And if you guys buy a PC from me and you use these, you get a nice little discount because I'm awesome. No, just kidding. It's because I got a nice little deal, wholesale deal with Teamgroup. So, okay. Speaking of Teamgroup, I think we need to pull those brackets off for the AIO. Set to 80. Okay, you're set to 80. Yo, what's up, Trap? There's no such thing as overkill. Oh, you're not wrong. How about way more than is necessary? How about that? He's been playing WoW on like a 13-year-old computer. So he's gonna be very happy when he starts playing on this and he's like, oh my God, this is incredible. Okay, that's all I needed from here right now. Trap, did you get your power back yet? So this build you're making now, how much do I sell it for? This one's kind of funky. So the customer provided the GPU, he provided the case, and he's local, so I don't have to ship it. I think this one, without the cost of the GPU and the case, and obviously like not having to ship, with taxes included, it was like 15 or 1600 bucks. I think total cost to the customer would normally be like 2300 or something in that range. Maybe more like 2500, 2600. And that would include like normal shipping costs and having to buy the GPU and the case and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, it's not bad. Prices have come down a lot in the last couple of years. It's crazy. I mean, some stuff is still very expensive, like the like, you know, the 4090s and stuff are still very expensive, but like in terms of like being able to just get stuff at market prices, like retail prices, it's so much better. I'm trying to remember how these work. I think this goes like this. All right, I'm gonna before I use these, let's just take a quick look at how they want the AMD one done. I don't think I've used one of these on an AMD yet. And pull those out. Okay, so these go down. Okay, cool. So those go down. Yep, didn't work. That didn't stay. And then we're gonna bolt this in through there. Just like that. Once the 5000 GPUs drop at the end of the year, the 4090s, yeah, they will. I mean, that's kind of the normal. But then, like, nobody's gonna buy. I mean, there might be a very short window where I'll have people say, hey, like, can I buy a PC with a 40 series instead of a 50 series and try and like save some money. But it's super rare. Like most people don't want to do that. Like they'd rather have, you know, the newer architecture, even if they have to get like a slightly lower end model. It also starts becoming harder and harder to get new one or like new 40 series. Like there'll be like flooded on the market for a couple of months after, you know, the 5000 series comes out as everyone tries to liquidate. But after that, it's like they don't make them. They're not manufacturing anymore, so it makes it harder. Still got the 2070 Super. Yeah. I think I need those. All right. I had my original PC that I built that I gamed and streamed on for a long time. I built it with a 2060 Super. Okay, so we got all that on. That's all out of the way. Now, I can move this over to the side and get our case up here. All right, so this is the Corsair 4000D. It's been out for about 17 years. No, I'm just kidding, but this was probably the most popular case on the market when I first started building computers. Like everyone was building in the Corsair 4000D Airflow. Everyone. You'll still see, it's a little dusty already. This is the one I got from the customer. It's a little dirty. Hold on, let me find a not super clean microfiber cloth. Wipe it out real quick. We'll just keep that down here for now in case there's some more stuff on it that I need to clean. You have a 3070 right now, so a 4090 would be amazing. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's still a great GPU. It's just not, you know, it's not what most people want to do from like when they're buying from me per se. They're building their own. That's kind of a different story. They can be a little more plucky in how they get components and stuff, but how's this thing so dusty from them already? They must have had this case for a little ways. Okay, that looks a lot better. The only issue with the 4000D is the fact that the AIO is only on the front. I know, I don't like that either. But they were pretty insistent on keeping the same case. Like they wanted to reuse this case since they already had it. So I said, okay. Oh shoot. Did they not include the? They didn't include the accessories kit with it. Oh, okay, the bolts are in here. Oh, thank God. Whew, scared me. Here, switch to that. You'll be that guy. The front grill is upside down as well. Did they really put it upside down? They did. I haven't touched this case at all yet. The front grill's got to come off anyways because we got to put the radiator up front, which is why I sold him just that 2-pack of deep cool fans. So we're just going to put a couple of fans on top just for better airflow. But I had those laying around, so I was like, hey, if you want to use these, like I'll sell them to you for cheap. So I just get them out of my office. Okay. that is now good to go. So let's get this in here. Stop banging it on stuff. Get that fan cable out of the way. Perfect. Okay. Okay, those all look like they're lining up. They also, it was kind of weird, they used washers on these bolts, which I never really do, so I'm not going to. Bolt heads are pretty big, so you really don't need washers on them. Have you seen some of the AIO concept coolers, like the Trix Panorama? I have not. Is that from, like, is that a Computex concept from this year, Richard? They have a panoramic display. Like on the radiator? Still here just lurking? That's fine. It's pronounced Tri-X. Okay. I prefer to pronounce things wrong. It wraps around the CPU cooler. Okay, so it's like wrapping around the block. Interesting. That's pretty cool. Okay, got all these bolts in. We should tighten the rest down now. Okay. The nice part is this isn't getting shipped anywhere. Guy's just picking it up, so I can be a little bit more gentle with the screws to make sure I don't over tighten them and strip the threads. They're saying it's like 8th gen type coolers. Interesting. Another excuse to charge $400 for a CPU cooler, I know, right? Okay, so that is all in there. Let's get this out of the way so we can get Susan. I gotta get this out of the way first. Screen wraps around the cooler. That's pretty sweet. I mean, like, for the kind of people who are gonna spend the money on crazy coolers anyways, I think innovating and adding more like fun technology like that is good. For all the other people who weren't gonna buy even like the current ones with LCDs on them, like I don't think it really matters. Corsair's also having some coolers coming out. I bet. Corsair is always the front end of Flash. Lazy Susan. Okay, let's get first this off. We'll make sure to put it back on right side up. Take the screen out too. You don't need that right now. And we gotta pull this guy out of here. Hey babe. Caked, what's up, dude? Good to see you. Trav, you know you want to buy one though. Like, you make fun of them finding an excuse to sell it for $400, but like, I know you. You know you. You know I know you know you. You want to buy one. Long story short. Okay, we gotta take this little plastic piece out so that there's room for a radiator there. Oh, I don't need to put that over there. Put Okay. I've been good, man. Been good. Business is picking back up, which is nice. Okay, well, let's get all of our I/O plugged in here. I'll do these straps. Not helping anybody right now. Okay, there we go. Okay, HD audio going in back here. Cool. All right, we've got our 2 USBs, and those are right up there. Let's get those installed as well. Okay, USB 3. There's USB 3. Sorry, USB 3.2. Sorry, no, that was USB 3. My gosh. My brain isn't braining right now. Okay, USB 3, USB 3.2. Those are both in there. Okay. And we've got all of our front panel connectors. Yeah. Let's see, what do we got here? We got a reset switch. Let's do that one first. Got our power LEDs. Do that next. I can never remember the power LEDs if it's which pluses. Pluses left. Cool. I had it correct. Yeah. And then power switch, of course. And it was, how would you turn it on the computer? Okay, there we go. Okay, we gotta pull those kind of, not tight necessarily, but we gotta at least just kind of pull them so they don't stick out. There we go. All right, so all that's plugged in. Let's get our rear fan plugged in. We've got CPU fan, pump fan, and we've got CPU optional. Is this gonna reach to the bottom? It does reach to the bottom, barely. Yeah, that'll be okay. Good enough to be able to cable management over here on the corner. Okay, let's get our CPU power cables in. We'll install our top fans, and then we will start working on the radiator. So today we've got the Seasonic Focus 850 watt power supply. Openings over here somewhere. There we go. Power cables, that's what I wanted. Don't need the power supply just yet. Ooh, it's getting toasty in here. Open the door back there for a minute. Okay. Let's find all the cables we need. I don't think we need any SATA cables, but we'll grab one of them out of here for now. SATA 3.3. All right, we'll grab those ones. Okay. Don't need any of the rest of these. More SATA and Molex. What do we got in here? We've got our 600 watt cable. I don't think this GPU even uses that. I'm pretty sure it just uses old school ATX 8 pins. Let's just double check. Yeah, just a single 8 pin. Cool. Okay, so we don't need this one. Motherboard, we need that. CPU, we want that. CPU, we want that. And then we'll take this singular GPU power cable. The rest of these we will put away, because we don't need them. All right, so the ones I wanted right now are the CPU power cables. The rest of those we'll just put back there. Only because I'm doing these CPU power cables now, only because once I put those fans in, it's only gonna get harder to reach up there and be able to route these back. So I want to do it now. You keep dancing for us, Explosive. You keep dancing, all right? Just lurking? All right. Glad to hear it. Appreciate the affirmation that you're here. Okay. There's that. So I'm gonna squeeze this guy back there too. There we go. There we go. Those are nicely pulled through. Got some zip ties in here we can use to hold them down. Looking here watching you do work. Heck yeah. Hell yeah, buddy. There's that. Got it. Got it. Got it. Okay. Another one right there. Overkill, tell me more. Well, first, Rytech, why don't you type in !specs, and then I'll talk you through why this is completely overkill for playing World of Warcraft. What the heck, Botrix? There we go. Okay, sorry. Botrix is just a little slow today. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it, Botrix. I didn't mean it. Okay, so there's your specs. As you all know, World of Warcraft is a very graphically non-intensive game, for lack of a better term. And the customer decided on a 7950X. We've got 32 gigs of fast DDR5 RAM and an RTX 4070, all to play World of Warcraft. You could play World of Warcraft probably pretty well on the 7950X
because the customer wanted the build
APU,
that way.
but not today. We don't do that around here. We go all or nothing. So he's got a 4070 to play an online MMO, because that's just how we roll. You game on that, you could easily game on it. I'd rather have an overkill PC than an under-dying PC. It's true. I mean, that's basically what he's trading in. He's trading in a dying, underperforming PC for this.
Dude gonna use this PC for another 10 years, LOL.
We can get our power supply in, actually, and hook the other stuff up, and then we'll work on our cooler height after that. Because the customer wanted the build that way. It is very true. I mean, there are always times when like I will talk a customer down. Like I talked the customer out of the 128 gigs because that's what he wanted originally. I was like, hey, by the way, like I know that that's what your brother like used, and he's like able to use it on his build somehow. But like 128 gigs, like with 4 sticks, you can't actually like XMP that or Expo it in this case. And be able to run your system at the rated speed for your RAM because DDR5 just like doesn't do it. It just won't work. And so I was like, you could save $300 and go with 32 gigs of RAM and still be able to play any game you want to play, let alone World of Warcraft, and it'll perform even better. And so he said yes. And I did the same sort of thing with the CPU cooler. I was like, hey, like I know you got this one, like maybe because you trust Corsair or whatever, but that Corsair CPU cooler is $200, and you can get this Teamgroup one for $110 and have pretty much the same performance. Plus he was using the old version of the Corsair cooler, which means it had an older pump versus this one, which has, you know, a Gen 7 Asetek pump. And so I was just like, those are kind of the ways, like I didn't try to change, you know, 4070. I didn't try to change 7950X, but I was like, hey, here's some little things that, you know, the average person who doesn't deal with hardware that often, you know, might not know. And here's how it could affect your system. Because like until you've tried it, the average person probably doesn't know that you can't really do 4 sticks of DDR5, and maybe that'll change someday. Maybe down the road they'll better design the motherboard voltage controller or the voltage like and power stuff to be able to do that, but right now you can't. It's just the way it is. Yeah, oh yeah, he's gonna use it for 10 years. I mean, I think that's pretty much his plan. He's like, I want a build that's gonna last for a really long time and be like he can, you know, upgrade this down the road if he wants to, you know. It doesn't have to be a static build. It's something he can mess around with and upgrade over time as he sees fit. Let's see if we can, I think I need to go this way with this thing. Okay. Does this fit in here? Ugh, just barely. Okay. Power supply installed. Just like that. Get our power supply bolts out here. Any 27-inch 165 hertz monitor recommendations? I have to get a smaller monitor. I have an MSI 27-inch 165 hertz 1440p monitor. It's like the G27 something or another. GC or GQ something 27-inch. IPS panel. I really like that one. If you want something a little bit more on the cheap, I would look at like Acer. Acer makes good stuff, like pretty good quality stuff, but it's not as expensive as most other things. Trying to think, who else has decent price? LG. This one I'm using here to like monitor chat and everything. You can find an LG 165 or 170 hertz monitor, 1440p, for not too much money. These are only like 100 hertz or something like that, I think. But they make 170. As long as it's comparable to my LG Ultra Gear. Oh yeah, because you have like a 32-inch, but it's you have a 1440p monitor and everything, but it's a 32-inch, right? Like it's just too big. It's too big. Yeah, I would just double check IPS panel, because I mean I don't think you're in the budget to get OLED, knowing you. because OLED's stupid expensive. I don't have OLEDs. Make sure that it's sub 1 millisecond response time. If you can get 0.5, even better. And then, yeah, the refresh rate, the 165, or even there's like 170 something. Yeah, the 32 inch is way too big. I agree. Yeah, that's what I would suggest is one of those options. Like, look at MSI, look at LG, look at Acer, and go to like PC Part Picker and see if you can find any of them that are like on sale right now. Like, you can just filter by those specs, and you can see if any of them are like significantly cheaper right now. You can get Gigabyte makes them too, but I've not heard great things about the Gigabyte ones, so I don't know if I would recommend those. This might be a little too thick. Don't do that. Go back down here. Okay, that'll work actually. Right, Tech, are you getting on tonight? You just called me poor. What the F? No, I called you not rich. Because, like me, you're not rich. And OLEDs are for either people who are rich or people who do this full time, in my opinion. Okay. Top fans. Let's get these installed. Like, call me crazy, but OLED monitors are not for most people right now. They are just too expensive. Your voice is almost completely gone. Wah, wah, wah. How lame. So sad. Gonna make me play by myself. Okay, let's bring this down. I'm gonna bolt these guys up top. Okay. You could play, but you'd be whispering. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Don't feel like you have to play because of me. I'm definitely doing a gaming stream on Saturday at some point, so you know, you can always catch me then. Stop sticking to me, stupid plastic. There we go, got it. finish bolting those down. I really want to like mount this camera to the roof ceiling. Not roof technically. I think it would be really cool to be able to like have the table move up and down and actually get closer to the camera rather than having it be mounted directly to the top of the table. Got that LTT screwdriver? I sure do, Adam. Sure do. I love my LTT screwdriver. The ratchet feature, the knurling on the spindle or whatever that's called. Like how it stores all the extra bits. I love it. I love it. How you doing tonight, Adam? Okay, here we go. That is in there. Okay. So we've got our RGB, we've got our fan cable here, which is gonna go to the CPU optional spot right there. Okay. So we got that part. Cut this little warning tag off. It's ugly. All right, and then we've got an RGB header right up there too. I'm gonna utilize that. Come on. There we go, got it. Okay, and then we've got our SATA cable here, which we should be able to run this way, but might run the other way, I don't know yet. And we'll figure that out when we get to that point. All right, now we're definitely putting our CPU cooler on. No more waiting. Okay, so we really only have one orientation for this. We got to bolt the radiator in just like that, and then this is going to go in just like that, okay? So with that being said, I want the fans on the inside. We could do it, it'll look better with the fans on the front. It's just more of a pain in the butt. So the easy way to do it is to pre-assemble these to the radiator and then bolt the radiator into here. The better looking way, in a lot of, I would say in the average person, is to bolt through the fans to the radiator. So you bolt through this bracket here, through the fan, into the radiator, and then you only have one set of bolts holding it in, and then you have the RGB, the nice bright RGB right up front. So I guess that's what we'll do, even though it's kind of a pain in the butt. It's the better thing to do. No, just kidding. It is the better thing to do. I'm not kidding about that part. Okay. So these guys, we're just gonna face them all that way. Okay. Okay. First fan's in there. Not bolted in, just in there. Kind of have to put all the fans in there and then kind of get them lined up together. Because once you bolt down one fan, there's not really enough space to squeeze the other fans in there. Okay, there's that one. One more. So, now that we got all those through there, now we get the fun part. Bolting it all in. Luckily, I'm pretty sure these are oversized in terms of length for the bolts, so I think we'll be okay here. How much is this overkill PC? Well, it's overkill for what the customer is going to use it for. I think this one only cost the customer around like $1,500 or something, $1,600. But that's because he provided the GPU and the case. So that saves him quite a bit of money in terms of like spending towards me. Like how much money I saw, because I didn't have to buy those things. All right, that fan is in. Let's get to the next one. Okay. Okay, that one is also in. I think if you bought this one normally from me, and like I provided all the parts and everything, and if I actually had to ship it to you, this customer is local, it would be in the like $2,300 to $2,400 range. That's just a guesstimate though. Is that moonshine or water? It's just water. I just like drinking out of a big old mason jar. All right, all of those fans are bolted in to some extent. So we'll just get the rest of the bolts in and then we're good to go. Yeah, so it's kind of a unique situation. Plus, like, so this customer had to pay like local state taxes, but then they didn't have to pay shipping. It's the whole thing. Nice, there we go. Cool. Don't need any of these bolts. Okay, so there's all of our front fans connected now. Next, we need to hook these up to the motherboard. We've got a little 3-to-1 over here somewhere. Yo, what's up, Nighty Nights? Okay, so this guy plugs in here. Okay, got that plugged in. Now we gotta plug in all these fan cables. Actually, I think we're gonna try and squeeze this back here. Something? What's going on? There we go. Okay. Now, connect all these fans in. Like so. Okay, get our RGB cables connected in here. Run that RGB cable out right here because it's right above the motherboard power cable. Okay, got that. And then we need to connect in. Don't need that. Don't need that. Need to connect in this guy from the CPU cooler itself. That's gonna go up into the back and then connect back into that same set of RGB stuff. Okay. We are now at the point where we can install the CPU cooler block. And these 4 bolts, or whatever you call these things. I'm going to need, does this thing not come? Okay, it's got pre-done thermal paste. Perfect, that's fine. Take all this plastic off while I have good access to it. Yo, what's up, Knick Knack? How we doing? Okay. Now I gotta pull this off. So you push in and twist. Push that one back in and twist. Cool, I put it on in the right orientation. Just got home from work. Today's your Friday. So you're going to relax. Hey, that sounds like a plan. Okay, got that on. Cut it. Nice catch, thank you. Played first baseman many years ago. I might want to shift these top fans back a little bit. Just because of the tubes from the AIO. Really don't want them coming in contact with that fan. Oh, I can't shift them back. At least not really. No, I guess I can't. I mean, okay, well. Guess that's just gonna be the way it's gonna go. All right, well, they're currently not hitting, so we should be okay. Okay. Plug this AIO cable in. Okay. Got that nice and plugged in now. that through there. Shoot that over the back. Just doesn't work, does it? Okay. All that stuff that's in here now is plugged in. So we can do a little more cable management up here. I'm sweating. Can't wait to be able to buy another camera for back there that works. I really need to. Okay, so there's all that. Why does my phone keep going off? Okay, so got that. A lot of extra length here of cables, so unfortunately we're gonna have to go A little more over the top with the zip ties than I usually would, but it's okay. It's gonna look good in the end, so that's really all that matters. Normally I try and be pretty minimal with zip ties, but with this one, I think that's just not really gonna be an option. There's just so much extra cable length on a bunch of this stuff that I just can't really do this without extra zip ties, you know, unfortunately. Okay, that is enough zip ties for today. Show you all the results here in just a second. All right, so all that extra length now is in a nice little bundle all along here. Not too shabby. And then now we need to get our 4070 installed. We'll get that PCIe cable routed in, and then we'll be done. That's all there is to it. That's all there is left. Okay. Okay. Put the 4070 in there. Okay. Here's our GPU. And there we go. We've got those cable ties. Finish up our cable management here with a couple of these Seasonic cable ties. Maybe just one Seasonic cable tie. Maybe two. Okay. Clip all these. And there we are. So, mischief on the back managed, if I do say so myself. We've got the CPU power cables coming in this way. We've got motherboard power, it's the front I/O, and then all of the extra cables for the, the AIO right there. Now, close it off. We're gonna put this on right side up rather than upside down, because this computer is no longer in distress, okay? Now it almost looks like it's ready to go. And that's because, ladies and gentlemen, this PC is ready to be powered up. So if you're in the chat and you've been here before, you know what time it is. Mr. Rainbow's already on top of it. I'm gonna need some fire emojis in the chat so we can fire this bad boy up. Get that top filter back on. This rear case panel back on. Lee coming in with some more fire emojis. What about you guys on Kick? I want to see some fire emojis in the chat right now so we can turn this baby on. Hurry up, I have a big day doing nothing. I'm going. This didn't take us that long. It was only like an hour. That whole stream was like an hour. Hour 15 maybe? All right. I'll give you guys another like 30 seconds, 40 seconds while I shift stuff over to the other PC so that I can play some games after this. But I want to see those fire emojis when I get back. And I'll look each and every one of you right into your soul and ask you, did you put a fire emoji in the chat for me? Okay? It's imperative. Not just important, imperative. Essentially means it's life or death. fate of this computer rests on all of you. Sir Rat dropping in the wow. Jatana dropping the fire emojis. All right. Got a couple more in there. Who's ready to see this baby turn on? Who's ready? Okay, first power up, 7950X, 32 gigs of RAM, 2 terabytes of storage, an RTX 4070, 850 watt power supply from Seasonic, Teamgroup T-Force, 360 millimeter AIO, a couple of deep cool fans, one Corsair fan, all inside of the Corsair 4000D airflow. First power up. Maybe that's a little too dark. What do we think, chat? What do we think? Trying to watch while you're playing? Can't believe you wouldn't put me as your first priority, Sir Rat. Cannot believe it. Looks pretty sweet, right? Not bad for a build that the customer kind of picked on their own and not so much me. Sounds like something's loose. Don't tell me if I... Sounds like it's the CPU cooler. Only because it's coming from that kind of area, but... I only hear it if I'm like up close. Interesting. I don't know what that's from, but we'll figure it out. Alrighty, well, that is it for the PC build stream. We are gonna move over to some video games. If you're on YouTube right now, we'll be ending the YouTube stream as it is, and then we will start a new stream on the new YouTube channel that I've got that's just for gaming. So if you wanna keep watching and you don't wanna move over to Kick, head over to Redneck Engineer Plays. Okay. If you're on Kick, you can just hang out. All right, YouTube folks, thank you so much for hanging out. We will see you on the next one.